It's actually a little funny. We have two teams in the conference semifinals that sucked all year, yet have real momentum building towards a push to the NBA Finals. Of course, I'm talking about the Miami Heat out east and the Golden State Warriors, who we're about to get into in a moment out west. I am your plug. Welcome back. Before we get into this podcast, I wanted to get my thoughts off on Knicks Heat Tuesday night, a game where New York looked determined to let the Heat steal it, man. I mean, Miami was trotting out Cody Zeller, Highsmith, Gabe Vincent, and they were all getting buckets. I thought Spo was going to give Coach Haslam some run at one point just to really shove it in our faces. Either way, back to the game, man. It was 29-31 after one. I'm thinking common trap game. Knicks only got a 2-point lead. There's no Jimmy Butler out there, and the Knicks, they just didn't come ready to play. Don't fall for it, guys. Second quarter rolls around. And, man, my squad, New York, could not buy a basket. They had this stunned puppy dog look on their faces like, bro, this is really going to be a dogfight without Jimmy on the floor? Yes. They looked tight, genuinely shocked they couldn't grab a lead. Thankfully, Julius got it going and was able to keep things close. But, bro, some serious observations through half. Through two games, Tibbs is seriously getting out-coached. Through the first 6 quarters, game 1 and the first half of game 2, Jalen Brunson was getting thoroughly outplayed. Kyle Lowry was out there doing old man pickup stuff. Blocking Julius Randle in the post, getting steals, running the offense, getting guys involved. But back to Tibbs and Spo, the shots New York was getting versus what Miami was getting was totally different. There was a lot of questions, a lot of eyebrow-raising moments. Why is Tibbs still playing our bigs in drop coverage? Why are there so many breakdowns just switching on the perimeter on basic pick and rolls? I'm not understanding it. I called for it later in the pod, but it didn't happen. Tibbs should have started Quentin Grimes over Josh Hart for shooting. That was a mistake, in my opinion. Nova boys were awful first half. Yes, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart. Brunson only 1 of 7, and Josh Hart having a marginal impact at best through that first half. Thankfully, Jalen got it going in the third, bro. He hit a 3 to make it 76-75. Finally, some momentum's building. The first Knicks lead since the second quarter, and early in it, they get a stop on the defensive end, come down, and Julius launches a 40-footer. At that point, I'm thinking all hope is lost. Like, I'm having the realization, oh crap, we might really fall down 0-2 to a squad without Jimmy Butler, headed to Miami. Knicks enter the fourth down 77-76 with a quarter left to stay in this series. Because if they lose this game, Jimmy Butler is just smiling and nodding on the sideline the whole time. He's out there in some low-top slippers, no fear of that ankle. He's coming back game 3 and with a vengeance. But when they needed him most, the Knicks hero, the guy that's been clutch for them all season, emerges again. Jalen Brunson helps the Knicks surge back, but of course they can't do it without making us sweat. Mitchell Robinson free throws are always an adventure, but in the late games, there's nothing scarier, dog. I mean, he made one tonight that defied all laws of physics, hit the front rim flush on the way down and still went in somehow. And then Julius Randle, who's an absolute nightmare in these end-of-game situations, makes an absolute bonehead play, stepping on the line, trying to throw an inbound pass. Either way, y'all, end result is a Knicks win and an even Stevens 1-1 series tie. 8 seed or not, tonight we were reminded why this Heat team made the conference finals 2 of the last 3 seasons. They're good and extremely well coached. All right, y'all, that's all I got. Stick around for part 2, Steph's 50-point night, game 1 reactions, and more. Before that, I'm Tyler here, joined as always by my brother, my dog, my co-host, Faraz.
Yes, sir. You guys already know it's another jam-packed episode of the Hoop Plug. You know what I'm saying? It's been a couple weeks since we've been on wax, but we've been giving you guys them shorts that y'all love. Thank you for the support. Run those up. Before we get into the podcast, a lot of y'all might not know this, but your boy had a career switch up recently, and I found myself in the education field, teaching middle schoolers, that is, 7th and 8th grade at my old middle school, man. It's been different, right? I just got to shout them out. They be bothering me, harassing me all the time, talking about you not going to shout me out on the podcast. So, hey, big shouts out to my 7th and 8th graders over at the Good Hope Country Day School. And just in case y'all were wondering, yes, they are not too shifty. They'll get it. They'll know what I mean. But yeah, brother, all things aside, man, I'm feeling good. Excited to get on wax. Jam-packed playoff plug. It doesn't really get any better than this. How you feeling, my brother, my dog, my co-host?
Hey, I'm feeling good, bro. I'm ready to get into it. Let's go. Warriors, Kings. What a series. No better two words in sports than Game 7, and we had that last night, bro. Sabonis was out there looking like he went 12 rounds in a Game 7 with Mike Tyson. I don't know, bro. That cut under his eyes looking hideous.
Dog, Sabonis has really seen some things this series, between getting a mud hole stomped through his chest, a cut underneath his eye. I don't know if y'all seen his shoulder. He got some cuts all over there, giving you some shades of Jokic last year when he was in the playoffs getting root up. I say all that to say this. I got to set the stage, man. We came into Game 7. I watched Game 6. I was nervous. I was like, if the Warriors don't close this out here, there's a team that can beat them. It's the Kings. The Kings are the better team. They got the 3 spot. Warriors are the 6 spot. We know they're used to doing this. We know that they're used to upsetting people. This time it's not much of an upset. It's just kind of how the chips fell. But I was shook.
Yeah, bro. That's a Warriors team that hasn't won on the road, and it feels like forever.
And they got handled at home. So I just had to say that right quick.
That's facts, bro. So nip and tuck first half. We're going to get into the game. Game 7, of course. 58-56 Kings going into the halftime. Like I said, it was close. No one could pull a lead more than 6 points. And the third quarter hits. And both rims are closed. No one not named Curry can make a basket, bro. This always happens in Game 7s. They're tight. They're heavily contested. There's lots on the line. It's no surprise when teams can't make baskets in this environment.
To be honest with you, bro, it was a nerve-wracking situation, however you want to put it, for the Golden State Warriors. I mean, I like what the Kings did. I don't think that they would do much moving on past this round, right? So I said, you know what? Not that it would be a shame for them to win. It'd be a little bit of a shame for the Warriors to lose. And I really thought that was going to happen until we saw Wardell, Stephen, Curry. My boy said 5-0, 50 ball. You already know the vibes. Point God, dog. Wow. That's all I got. Really? I didn't even see the game. I saw the highlights, dog, and I'm just at a loss for words.
Well, yeah, bro, because it was that third quarter that was a sludge fest, and then Steph figures out, okay, the 3-point shots aren't falling. Maybe I'll just get back to the basket. Get to the Baja. It's an underrated part of his game because as good as he shoots it, bro, that jumper comes with a handle. And the handle comes with a finishing package that's up there with some of the best in this game, bro. He was outstanding. It's very difficult to drop 50 in the heat of playoff intensity. Even more difficult to do that on the road. Even more difficult with your back against the wall in an elimination game. But that's just what the greats do. Rise to the occasion.
You forgot one thing. Even more difficult when your name is Steph Curry and the whole game plan is poised to stop you.
Yeah, bro.
You speaking facts, bro.
It was a miraculous, it was a Steph Curry performance, bro. People are talking about it already. We're going to talk about it here too. Is Steph Wardell Curry the greatest point guard of all time after that performance last night?
Like, I'm sitting here thinking about that, and almost off rip, you just want to outright say yes. 4 chips, unanimous MVP, multiple MVP, the finals MVP. I mean, Steph's got it all on his resume. The 3-point scoring, the way he's changed the game, the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. When I think of Steph Curry, I don't think of point guard, right? When I think of point guard, I think of Magic Johnson. I think of John Stockton. But I want to point something out for you fans at home, right? Although Steph is in that conversation for greatest point guard of all time, he's really only a point guard by lack of choice because of his size. The way Steph Curry plays, the way his game is, Steph is really like a 2 built into the babyface assassin package, the 6'3" body frame. The way that he plays, the way that his game is, it's really not about facilitating offenses per se. I mean, you see Draymond Green doing the heavy lifting when it comes to that on the Warriors squad. Steph Curry is a bucket. Not only is he the best 3-point shooter of all time, he's one of the best scorers of all time. It's something that we haven't really spoken about. Is he the best point guard of all time? He's definitely the best scoring point guard of all time. He could get best point guard of all time. What are your thoughts on that?
So that means what? You have Magic in front of him?
There's
Jerry West in that conversation.
Oh, you got a point. You see, there's people that I'm forgetting, right? I mean, Magic, John Stockton are the prototypical point guards. Magic gets, obviously, the edge because he's Magic, the chips, all of that stuff that he's done that John Stockton can't compare to. And, of course, we can't talk about Magic without talking about his career being short. So there's a lot of things he wasn't able to complete, so it kind of puts an asterisk at the back end for it, right? But when I do think of point guard, I think of Magic, but the game has changed,
Yeah, and I think the people that have Magic in front of him, and what you're about to allude to, is the 3-point ball, and not only the way that he makes it, the threat that he is, but the gravity that he holds on the court. It's a real thing. So if he's not getting the traditional Steve Nash 1 pass ahead assist, he's getting those assists that you can't really see in the stat sheet because of all the attention he mandates when he's out there on the court, crossed half court line. It's a different game, as you were alluding to. He's going to end up the greatest point guard of all time. If he's not there right now, he will be from his last day. He's the greatest little guard of all time right now. Isaiah Thomas, step aside, that's him. John Stockton, step aside, that's Steph. Okay? I don't think after last night, it's not close. It can't be. I know Isaiah won one. We're talking about 4 chips. He's on his way to another one because I don't believe in those Lakers. We'll get into that in a second. But bro, it's crazy.
I'm going to pose a question to you, but I'm going to kind of respond to your original point, right?
Let's hear it.
I'm not saying no, but we also got to understand what we typically expect from a one guard to just straight up be like the best point guard. Do we say the best person who's ever played the one position? I think that's a different question. And I'm probably going to go yes. You know what I'm trying to say? But at the same time, I'm still going to give it to Steph. But you said the best little guard. I agree with you, but I also said something about the best scoring one. There's a guy we haven't spoken about. You mentioned Isaiah, John Stockton. We talked about Magic. Where does Allen Iverson fit into this conversation? Because his name's in the convo if we're talking about getting buckets. Pound for pound, arguably the greatest scorer of all time, if not the greatest scorer of all time. So what are your thoughts on that? We look at the 2 careers. Yes, Steph had the better career than Allen Iverson, but we compare the primes. Is it fair to say that?
I don't know. Peak for peak, you probably consider them even because what Allen Iverson was able to do on a roster that nowhere near stacked up to this Golden State team in any of its finals runs. All they had was Dikembe playing defense. You know what I'm saying? Eric Snow out there trying to give minutes as a 3-and-D guy. Like, that was insane. And the feeling that I hear, because I wasn't able to watch the full AI prime. I'm a little too young for that.
Of course.
But the feeling of people, especially Philly natives, that talk about after they won game 1, I believe they didn't get swept, right? They won game 1.
No, they won game 1, and AI
they thought that he was about to do it. Like, they were like, "What is about that?" Kobe and Shaq on the other sideline. AI is the best guy on the court. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, you're speaking facts. So that's why I have to plug him into that talk. Because we can't talk about the one position. We can't talk about small guards. We can't talk about greatest point guards of all time. We're not talking about AI at least. You know, he's got to be in the convo.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get into this, man, because we now know the round 2 matchup, the final one we were waiting on out west. It will be Lakers versus Golden State Warriors. And for me, bro, this was best case scenario. Kind of feel like the Kings would have mopped the Lakers. I guess we'll never know, though. The Lakers, now looking at this series against the Warriors, can't win with this version of LeBron James. We're 22-5 now. This is a massive drop off from what he once was. The king, that ain't the king over there. That's a prince, okay? 22-5, career lows in points, steals, assists. I know he's deferring. He's playing in a different role now. The baton has been passed to Anthony Davis, but yeah, we can expect and wait for him to turn on a gear when he also needs it. But I gotta say, bro, this ain't the same guy.
Yeah, and it's really hard to believe when just a few months ago he was averaging 30. The regular season top scorer in the league was trying to make a run for scoring title, you know, at one point, right? Age is starting to show. And we thought LeBron was a robot for forever, you know, not in the same way that Kawhi Leonard is a robot, but a robot in his own right. And LeBron is starting to show that he's human. I am very much a believer that LeBron is playing this way because this is the way that he's always wanted to play. If LeBron could have won championships prior by scoring 20 points, getting 5 assists and 5 rebounds, I don't think he'd have a problem with it. That's just the kind of player and that's the kind of guy that LeBron is. Everybody eats, and he recognizes as long as his legacy is affected positively, he's all right with that. I think this is the first time in LeBron's career where he's been able to do this. I don't want to say that this is the best team that he's had, not even close, not even by a long shot, right? But this is the only time where we've seen LeBron as not the number one option or that he could get away with it. So I think I'm making all of these points to say I think LeBron could turn it up when he needs to. And if you have a 3, 4, 5 stretch of games, even if the rest of the playoffs Anthony Davis performs poorly, I think you can expect LeBron James to turn it up.
Word. And let me be clear. I don't doubt that he has the 30-point triple-doubles in his bag still. Part of what made LeBron was the consistency, being able to do that every night, being able to go out there and play every night. And that's no longer the guy we're getting. Continue,
Correct.
Though.
No, and that was what I was going to say. So, however, I say all that to say, do I think he's still got something in the tank if he wants to? Yes, but I agree wholeheartedly. It felt like it used to be a challenge for LeBron to not get 25, 8, and 8. Like, it used to be more difficult for him to not get that than it would be for him to get it. I mean, we've seen his playoff numbers. We've seen the crazy stat lines, the runs that he made, especially with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But LeBron is a human being. So it leads us to ask the question, because I remember sounding crazy on a few podcasts ago, saying he might have 5, 6, 7 years. The way he was looking a few months ago, some would have called me crazy, but some would have agreed with me. Now you look at it and it's it's like, all right, well, that possibility doesn't seem like reality.
All right, let's talk matchups here. Warriors, Lakers, second round. Who's guarding Steph? Probably Austin Reeves, right? We're not putting D'Angelo Russell on him. I know that's not happening. But we got Austin Reeves there. They actually stack up pretty well. Jared Vanderbilt versus Draymond, Looney versus AD, D. Russ versus Clay, and Bron Wiggins. This is a pretty evenly matched on paper series, with obviously continuity, three-point shooting favoring the Warriors, and up-tempo style and defense favoring the Lakers.
Matchups are pretty solid, like you said. I mean, the key factors to this series, right, are going to be, again, as always, for the Warriors, it's going to be Steph Curry and what he can do. And not just on the offensive end, because Austin Reeves has been coming out to hoop. You know what I'm saying? He's been leading the way with buckets these days. You know, he might not be the lead scorer every night, but he's stolen a playoff game lead scorer for a night. So what Steph Curry does, right, and his ability to hold Austin Reeves down, and then Anthony Davis on the other end. It's really simple. You need your stars to come out and perform. LeBron, Andrew Wiggins, I think Andrew Wiggins is going to play good enough defense to slow down LeBron. And yes, you might be able to slow him down these days, but LeBron is still going to do what he does. Draymond is still going to do what he does. Clay is also a big key factor for this series, because although he played all right in the last couple games, we still have yet to really see Clay. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe some people feel like we saw him at that level in some of these last games, but
the first half of this game, so
you know how it is. I think it's important. That's the one, because D'Angelo cannot hold Clay if Clay is having his way.
Yeah, and they're going to need him if they want to really make noise and talking about finals and stuff. But it's going to be a major switch up in terms of the type of ball these two teams are going to be playing. Golden State was just trying to keep up with De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, two quick twitch guards. Now they're going to go to this slower, methodical. Anthony Davis is getting post touches. They're trying to get everyone in mismatches, hunt him off the pick and roll. And it's going to be interesting. I think the matchup to watch is, unsurprisingly, Anthony Davis, Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney just did a phenomenal job on Domantas Sabonis. You saw what Domantas Sabonis looked like leaving that series? Anthony Davis is a different task. So we're going to see who wins that matchup, especially on the rebounding side. I think that's going to probably tip the scales in this series.
Yeah, 100%, man. And let's talk about it. Steph versus LeBron. Round 1 million, bro. And honestly, I would have loved to see something like this in the Western Conference Finals. The problem is they would not have made it that far. I don't know, man. We're getting basically a finals matchup maybe a couple years ago. Not a finals, Western Conference Finals matchup a couple years ago, right? In the semis. And you don't think LeBron playing against the Warriors are the bane of his existence. LeBron's career has an asterisk next to it, at least in the playoffs, right, with the winning and whatever, because of Steph Curry and the Warriors. I think if there's any series where LeBron is motivated outside of maybe the final series, if they were to have gotten there by any crazy chance, would be this one. He's got to prove a point. He cannot keep losing to Steph and them boys.
Yeah, the record is undeniable. The difference here is we're not expecting them to go toe for toe, tit tat. This is going to be Steph getting his and role player LeBron, because that's all we got right now. 22-5. I read y'all the stats. Okay, this is the Anthony Davis show. This is Alex Caruso. This is Lakers doing it by committee. So it's going to be
Caruso. He's a Chicago Bull. All right.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
I'm playing.
I
think they'll be all right.
Well, I got a question for you, bro. There's a lot of legacy implications on the line, right? We just talked about Steph's greatness after that 50 ball. For us, is there a chance when it's all said and done, especially if the Steph Curry goes on, beats LeBron, wins the finals, parade in the Bay, is there a chance Steph can surpass LeBron before he exits the stage left?
You're asking some heavy-hitting questions here. Some people would fight over the wrong answer to this, all right? Damn. If we're going strictly off head-to-head, Steph's got it. Steph's got it in the bag, and then some, right? If we look at when they've played each other, especially in the big moments, who's always come out on top? It's Steph. But damn, we talking about LeBron. He's not the GOAT, but he's close, right? And a lot of people are talking about he wins one more chip. He might be. Like, some people have already put him there. A lot of people have already put him there. But people are saying one more chip, and it's guaranteed. It's a lock. So then are we saying by the time Steph retires, he could be the GOAT?
I'm not.
And this, I don't think he could be the GOAT. And this is the thing about it, right? We understand LeBron may win 5. He may, like, that one is a stretch is 6. But LeBron's 5, I feel like would mean more than a Curry 6. Does that sound crazy?
Yeah, I feel like if you win a finals, all finals are not created equal.
Correct.
Finals MVPs, though, are created equal. So if we're stacking finals MVPs versus Steph, LeBron, we're talking about 4 versus 1. 1 is not. You got some work to do, Steph, if we're talking about surpassing LeBron in that case. So, 4 for 4 on the surface level, you're going to be like, nah, Steph has a chance. But when you dive into it, I don't see it happening as great as Steph is. I just called him the greatest point guard to ever live earlier on this podcast. So, I got a lot of reverence for the kid, even though he's older than me. But, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm with you. The babyface assassin has made his mark in the league. He's changed the game. He's changed rules. Single-handedly changed the way the game of basketball is played. But I do not think he can do enough in this lifetime to surpass LeBron James.
Unless he plays till he's 50.
Yeah, unless he plays till he's 50. He's giving me a 50 ball at year 29.
All right, y'all, Heat, Knicks, y'all know where my heart is, okay? But there were some things I was looking for before we went into this series. How are the Knicks going to try to guard Jimmy Butler? Hopefully not like the Bucks, one-on-one. I expected a lot of Josh Hart. I think we got that. Another thing I was looking for, will Mitch be able to dominate on the glass versus Bam versus Kevin Love like he did Jared Allen and Evan Mobley? I guess what I should have been looking for is, can the Knicks hit perimeter shots behind that line they draw? The answer to that was a clear and resounding no, just like it has been for the last series. And that was the main factor while the Heat were able to come into the Garden and steal game 1.
I don't know if I'd use the word steal. I think it was a hard-fought battle, and they came out on top. And the Knicks really missed their star in Julius Randle. They really missed him.
Yeah.
Right? However, yeah, they came in. Jimmy Butler, dude, I can't even start on Jimmy Butler. It just drives me up the wall. Jimmy Butler is so mid, regular season, right? Then we got him making a run in the bubble to the finals against LeBron. People talking about, yeah, Jimmy is in that conversation of top 2 in the league, top 3 in the league. But you can't deny what he does in the playoffs. But he's not top 2 regular season. He's not even top 20. He might not even be top 30 regular season. Jimmy Butler in the playoffs finds, I don't even know what to say. He goes from like a Toyota Camry to we're talking like a Rolls Royce Phantom in the playoffs. Like, I don't know where this guy finds this gear.
It's just the Pat Riley magic, bro. It has to be. He just sprinkled some pixie dust. He kept that shit from LA. He brought it to New York. He's with him in Miami. I don't know how he does it, but he just turned water to wine out there. Because this was an awful three-point shooting team. They hit the playoffs and now they can't miss. Jimmy Butler in the playoffs consistently averages 15 more points per game than he does in the regular season, bro. Like,
that's actually crazy.
It's ridiculous. And there were some positives for the Knicks. I liked how Josh Hart looked guarding Jimmy for the most part. He wasn't giving up much from the post. He's a physical guy. He likes to compete. He's quick enough on the perimeter, stay in front. But most importantly, he was smart enough to stay down on the Jimmy Butler head fakes, because that 50-point night, the 44 in Game 7, it was a lot of free throws mixed in there. The Knicks built a 12-point lead in that first half by scoring in the paint, not jumping on those head fakes. For some reason, that all went out the window with 2 minutes left in the first half. They allowed the Heat to cut it to 5, and I knew we were in trouble. That third quarter came, and the Heat decided, you know what? We're going to play basketball like it's 1987. Everybody get in the paint. Kyle Lowry come down. Everyone come down. We're going to clog the paint, slow these paint points, and force New York to make shots from the perimeter. And guess what? We couldn't do it. He can't miss. Kevin Love's throwing full court overhead passes like he still plays with Brown in Cleveland, and they play.
Man, it's real when you get a notification of the game while you're watching the game on your phone saying vintage K-Love and Jimmy Butler handling the Knicks or something to that effect. I ain't even trying to be disrespectful. I know you rep Knicks Nation to the fullest, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, vintage K-Love out there for a little bit. Didn't get too many minutes that game, but in the moments that he was there, his impact was felt.
Yep.
Let's talk about it, right? This Knicks team didn't play bad. I think you guys played great. Like you said, there was a lot of missed three-point shots, unfortunately. But you guys lost 101, 108. Your star player who gives you 25-plus points a game was not there. I think Julius Randle in this series, this is a no-brainer for the Knicks. I think the Knicks handled the Heat with ease. But the Heat looks scary. And you do not want to give a team like the Miami Heat, who's coached by Spo, and even higher up along the food chain, you got Pat Riley. This is not a team you want to give momentum. This is a team that when you see the spark going, you spit it out, you stomp it out, you kill that flame, and you don't give them any hope. But you have cats like Gabe Vincent giving you a 20 ball. It's going to be really hard for this Heat team to lose.
Yeah, they got him looking like the second coming of Reggie Miller, sprinting around screens, shooting off the dribble, bro. It looks different. Like, they got the dribble handoffs working, everything. They just said, Tyler Hero's down. You can do that. And he has another Pat Riley pixie dust moment, bro. The Knicks just, in game 1, didn't make enough threes to win an NBA basketball game 2023. It just doesn't work like that. And that's not a new thing. They got away with it against the Cavs because they were holding them under 100 points. But it really is going to be tough to win games that way. Julius Randle will help with that. I think maybe some Quentin Grimes more minutes there. I know you're easing him back from an injury, but as much as Josh Hart gives you, I like him better with the bench and then playing the full second half, like play all 24. He's good. Tibbs going to do it anyway, but start with with Grimes. Get quickly in a little bit earlier because we need them to be feeling good and hitting threes. Yeah, you're right. Gabe Vincent was a problem in game one. I already knew he was going to be annoying as hell. This Heat team was just annoying as hell.
That's the best way to describe them. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, man, like, not only did they run with the champs, again, Giannis was out 2.5 games, but, I mean, they made a mockery of them. Now you see them doing more of the same. They're not making a mockery of the Knicks. The Knicks really, I mean, again, you said earlier, you alluded to it, that they came and stole one in the Garden. I think the Knicks more so gave them that one than them stealing it.
Well, I'll say this. There's games that you feel like you lose. This wasn't one of them. I mean, the shots were falling. They got some good looks, but this wasn't one of them. They did cough up game one. Plenty of series left. Let's see how this goes.
Correct, man. I mean, speaking of plenty of series left, man, we got to touch on it now. Next matchup in the Western Conference semifinals, we got the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. And what I got to say is, goddamn, were things crazy in the Mile High City.
Let's go, bro. Denver. I hope y'all saw the video we put out because we had some faith, bro. We were believing in the gang, the guys down. Denver Nuggets impressed in game one. Still a lot, again, to go, but the weapons were on full display. You're talking about Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon combining for 81 points. And that was on a B+, B- game for the Joker.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon not missing a shot till the third quarter came around. Free throws, field goals, didn't matter. It was all falling. And then Jamal Murray. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to retire the word bubble form, but that's damn it what it was. I saw the post-game interview. He said he don't really like that, right? Kenny Smith came out and asked him, is it healthy Murray or bubble Murray? And Jamal gave him one of these, like, what you talking about? But
I mean, honestly,
I see what you're coming from. Go ahead.
Warranted after the poor performances he's had this year so far. Jamal Murray, right now you are him. And unless you prove us wrong, and you got to do a lot of wrong to prove us wrong after the performances you've had so far, I think it's safe to say Bubble Mall is no longer a thing. Jamal Murray is here to stay.
Yeah, and the regular season basketball is so different from the playoffs. Like the things that matter on a game-to-game night matter 10 times more in the playoff games when things are slowed down. You got weeks to prepare, playing the same team over and over again. It's the tiny advantages that end up deciding most of these games. And with a guy like Nikola Jokic that does so much out there on the offensive end, you forget how good he is in one of the basics of NBA basketball, and that's rebounding. Denver bludgeoned the Phoenix Suns on the glass. At halftime, the Suns had 15 rebounds. Jokic had 14. We saw it in the Knicks-Cavs series. It's almost impossible to win if you're losing on the glass by that much. We saw a couple clips, one that went viral, DeAndre Ayton just sitting there being a bystander on the court. If he doesn't figure out a way to get more involved on the glass, the Phoenix Suns, as much firepower as they have on the wings, have no chance in this series.
Yeah, 100%. And as great Kevin Durant is in helping out on the boards, you can't expect 14 rebounds from him every single night. He was doing it because nobody else was. I mean, you see the viral clip, you mentioned it, but dude, was it bad. It was atrocious. 2 or 3 offensive rebounds, KD sitting there fighting, and my boy Ayton looks confused as ever. Looking 50 at 22. And it looks like he really may have the Benjamin Button disease.
Yeah, and you were talking about it. This was like a A-, B+ game from the stars for Phoenix. Devin Booker, KD, they were good. I mean, shout out Bruce Brown, amazing on both ends. Big reason why KD kept coughing off the rock. Uncharacteristic 7 turnovers, but they were good.
The Nuggets were just great, bro. I mean, I agree with you. The Suns didn't play poorly. The 2 stars combined for 50-plus points. Like, what more could you really ask in the playoffs? However, you had 6 guys on the Nuggets in double digits, with 3 of them being 23-plus. You said it. There was a lot of things that the Suns just got outplayed, outworked. I mean, it was the defense from guys like Bruce Brown, the forced turnovers that the Suns had, the lack of effort from DeAndre Ayton, the advantage that the Nuggets had on the glass, the absolute dominance that they had with moving the ball and scoring. This Nuggets team looks scary. And I'm going to be honest, for a lot of people, including myself, this Suns team was a favorite to make it to the finals. We always sleep on the Nuggets teams. I'm the first one to sleep on them, but I'm woke. I ain't sleep no more. If they can keep putting up performances like this, if the Joker can rely on Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon on a night-in, night-out basis, the rest of the guys just got to do what they normally do. And this Nuggets team is a championship-bound squad.
Well said, bro. Well said. I think this might be the year. I don't know if they can win it all, but I could definitely see them get there. Golden State is going to be their toughest test out west. They're a team that is a real team in the sense of the word, where it's 5 guys out on the court really working together. But this Suns team is really missing that and just that. If I'm this offseason, I'm trying to clear Chris Paul's number off our books, because we could fill in the gaps in our roster like that. 5 million here, 10 million here, a couple mid-level exception guys. Right now, they're not able to do any of that because they are so backed up to it with the cap. They have Ayton on max, Booker on max, KD on max, CP damn near it. The only option there is to clear CP off the books. Find some pieces that fit around these guys.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest, it's no longer the offense being ran through Chris Paul anymore. If you guys notice, just for large stretches of the game, you had Chris Paul in the corner trying to catch a three if it was open, if they got it to him. And honestly, they could pay somebody less to do that.
And I'm sorry we're trying to break up the team after game one, y'all, but this is just some honest thoughts that came into our head.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not over. I'm not saying that it's done, and I think that this Suns team still has a very good chance of taking it to 7 games and maybe even beating this Nuggets team. But you got Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who I have to say, Ty, after watching the last game, this guy's the truth. They didn't win the game, but you look at the way his game is. It's so smooth. He gets buckets at ease and in bunches. And honestly, I know exactly what you were saying about Kobe. The falling away jumpers, the sticking out the right foot for the balance.
Even a lot of the mannerisms.
It's
you
true.
can tell he studied.
I have to say. So the Suns team is looking solid. The Nuggets team is looking better. They can keep it up. They're going to be a team that can make it all the way to the chip. Like Ty said, they're going to face probably the Warriors. Lakers, I mean, have been clicking off.
That's
Lakers
true.
made solid work. I mean, this is going to be a good series. Regardless, we got some great basketball ahead of us.
Absolutely, bro. And just make sure you guys are locked for some analysis, some content, some reactions here all the way through the NBA Finals. For us, before we get out of here, we got to tell all the people listening, watching about the best men's hair care company on the planet, EvanAlexanderGrooming.com.
You got that right. Ain't nobody better than EvanAlexanderGrooming.com when you're looking for the best place to get your hair care, skin care, beard care. You know what I'm saying? And the best part about all of that is when you're supporting the Hoop Plug, you get 15% off. That's right.
Yes, sir.
15% off when you plug in the promo code at checkout. Ty, let them know what they got to do to get that discount.
Just enter that promo code hoop_plug_ for that 15% off. Until next time, for us, let them know where we put that flavor.
As always, guys, put some flavor in your ear. Peace.